It is my honor to welcome all of you wonderful people here today. We'll be going over why the NCAA can and should pay their athletes. The NCAA should pay their athletes because they rake in enough money so that paying them will barely even touch their profits. Playing college sports is more workload than a lot of full-time jobs, and the risk for injury makes compensation a must. For you to fully understand why college athletes should be paid, we need to discuss the NCAA's profits, athletes' intense day-to-day workload, and the athletes' risk of injury. The NCAA rakes in enough money to where paying their athletes would barely even touch their profits. According to the 2019 NCAA Athletic Department finance reports from the USA Today, the top 5 schools in the nation, Texas, Texas A&M, Ohio State, Michigan, and Georgia, bring in over $1 billion in revenue before expenses in only one calendar year. It will cost around $200 million to pay every single NCAA athlete, according to Court Gaines, a top writer for the editor of Inside News, which is less than the total revenue of only one of the top schools in the nation. Only 1% of college athletes get full ride scholarships. So the argument that these kids are getting paid for just going to school, that should be their compensation enough, is not valid because there's only the top 1% of athletes are on a full ride scholarship. Playing college sports is more hard work than most full-time jobs. In 2015, a group of UNC football players filed a lawsuit against the school because of how much they were practicing and how much time they were spending on football-related activities. A poll was taken from this lawsuit across all sports, and the results are crazy. According to the poll taken across UNC's campus, football players spend 43.5 hours a week on work, and baseball players spend 42.5 hours a week on work, and that work is just for their sport alone. Athletes put in all this time and dedication to their sports, and the schools are the one who are making billions off of this athlete's hard work. The risk for injury makes compensation a must. Major contact sports like football, hockey, and lacrosse, when you are running full speed into other people, serious injuries are just bound to happen. Head and brain injuries are the most common and most traumatic. Brain injuries lead to the big problems down the road and later in life, like CTE. In 2018, a study was done by the University of Boston, finding that 99% of NFL athletes have been previously diagnosed with CTE, and 91% of college football players were diagnosed also. And that, to me, that just comes down to the fact that the majority of athletes that are getting CTE are getting it from playing college sports alone. Now that you can understand all the outside factors that play into paying or not paying collegiate athletes, majority of schools have the money to pay their athletes, and they also make them work these 40-hour hard work weeks devoted to their craft. And the rate of injury is higher than it's ever been because of the increased strength and speed by these incoming recruits. The cream of the crop is just getting better and better. Paying these young adults the money that they deserve is 100% possible. Now that you are convinced, all we need to do is convince the NCAA Board of Athletics. Thank you for listening and have a blessed week.